Hello everyone, this is Dustin with RantFish Crypto TV. We are your voice in crypto. So I just wanted to jump in here today and go over the recent communication from the White House. They sent out President Biden's executive order yesterday, which is ensuring responsible development of digital assets. And the White House just posted on their website a fact sheet, which details exactly what the order is going to say and what they're going to do. So we're just going to go through it real quick. You can find this on whitehouse.gov, or you can pause the video and take a look at it. I'm not going to read through the entire thing, but this goes through the briefing here. And then specifically on the fact sheet where they detail here, the executive order calls for measures to, 1, protect U.S. consumers, investors, and businesses by directing the Department of the Treasury and other agency partners to assess and develop policy recommendations to address the implications of the growing digital asset sector. And then it goes into talking about changes in financial markets, so on and so forth. So essentially, the president is putting in charge the Department of the Treasury. So basically what the Department of Treasury is charged with is basically partnering with other agencies to determine who does what with cryptos and who oversees what, and really putting together a framework to develop policy further from here. Then it goes on to say, protect U.S. and global financial stability and mitigate systemic risk. They want to do this by encouraging the Financial Stability Oversight Council to identify and mitigate economy-wide, example would be systemic financial risks posed by digital assets. So they want to review, any systemic risks within the system that digital assets pose. It's a lot of jargon and a lot of just like words put together that basically are used in order to address regulatory gaps. Next, it talks about mitigating the illicit finance and national security risks posed by illicit use of digital assets by directing an unprecedented focus of coordinated action across all relevant U.S. government agencies to mitigate these risks. So essentially, this order is directing all government agencies to look at the risks. Mitigate means to assess them, figure them out, kind of prepare for them, and put together this, relevant articles to send back to the president so they can address how regulation is developed, so to speak. Next, it talks about promoting U.S. leadership in technology and economic competitiveness, and this is to reinforce U.S. leadership in the global financial system. So this is kind of what everybody's been waiting for. This whole order is more positive than I think everybody thought, which is good for digital assets. Essentially, what this paragraph is talking about is the president is ordering that, he wants to promote U.S. leadership in this technology. He understands, I think, that, we need a competitive advantage, the U.S., in the world economy. All these other countries are adopting Bitcoin. They're making Bitcoin legal tender. And the U.S. needs to, we're a financial leader. Right now we have the reserve currency for now, but the U.S. needs to actually get off its rear end, for lack of a better term, and get going and be a leader in digital assets. And I think that that's what this paragraph is talking about. I think the current administration realizes that, which is a good thing. Next, it talks about promote equitable access to safe and affordable financial services by affirming the critical need for safe, affordable, and accessible financial services. Basically, it's saying that this administration wants to, protect investors and promote safe access to financial services. There's a lot of staking going on. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, are presenting significant financial gains and returns for early investors. So of course they want to regulate that. This is just saying, that the order is aimed at promoting access to safe and affordable financial services. So I guess protecting investors, I would think that this is an area where the SEC will focus on. They shouldn't be focusing on the entire digital asset industry, but I don't think they're going to moving forward. But that's essentially what this is talking about. And furthermore, in the paragraph, it says the Secretary of the Treasury will be working with all relevant agencies and will produce a report on the future of money and the payment system. So essentially, the president is charging Secretary Yellen, who is the Secretary of the Treasury, charging her with the job of overseeing, or working with all relevant agencies. So the Commodities Commission, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and whoever else she deems necessary to work with regarding the future of these payment systems and the future of, CBDC, so to speak, central bank digital currencies. We're going to see a lot with that, and we'll talk more about that in a second too in coming paragraphs. But that's what this paragraph talks about. Next, it talks about supporting technological advances and ensure responsible development and use of digital assets by directing the U.S. government to take concrete steps to study and support technological advances and the responsible development of them. And you can read the rest of that. So essentially what this is talking about, it's just directing the government to put together a system of steps while studying, these technological advances. You got to understand the government doesn't really fully understand the entire digital asset industry. They're not tech savvy. They don't understand the development of decentralized finance apps or decentralized finance and decentralized applications, and they don't really know how the blockchain works fully. So that's what this paragraph is talking about, directing individuals or agencies in the government to study this and to report back to the president so that they can in turn regulate it and create laws and legislation around that. The next one talks about exploring a U.S. central bank digital currency, otherwise known as CBDC. So they want to place urgency on the research and development of a potential U.S. CBDC, and they should issue, and then it talks about should the issuance be deemed in a national interest. It definitely should be deemed in a national interest. So a lot of countries, if you're watching the news, are already creating CBDCs. They're already going out and creating digital forms of their current currencies. So the U.S. really needs, this is the one area where the U.S. needs to really focus on. There's a lot of talk CBDCs could be an invasion of our privacy. They could be a way for the government, to control the monetary system. Well, they actually are a way for that. But, in my mind with all of this, I mean, we're going to create a CBDC in the U.S. Other countries are. The digital asset industry really, in my opinion, is centered on XRP with regard to XRP and the XRP ledger being a cross-border payment system, and will essentially be a intermediary for all these CBDCs to transact with one another throughout the world. So, the XRP ledger is going to play a pivotal role in this, and you might see a lot of things online where you read about XRP being our CBDC, and that's not going to happen. XRP is in its own, it's for cross-border payments on the XRP ledger, and it's really a connection point for one currency to another. So you have USD, or let's just say USD coin, and you want to go and bring that over to, overseas to Europe, and you have the European dollar. You can transact through XRP to, exchange for that currency and transact overseas and spend that money that way. All right, so then it just closes. We're saying the administration will continue to work across agencies with Congress to establish policies that guard against risk and guide responsible innovation. Also talks about working with our allies and partners. So really what this executive order is, it's taking the first step for our government to really put things together, study cryptocurrencies more, but essentially assign responsibilities to agencies in the government to assess the situation and start reporting back to the president so that Congress can go ahead and develop legislation surrounding this and really create some regulatory clarity on digital assets so that we can start innovating as a country and not have so much bureaucracy and red tape, which is ridiculous, which you're seeing a lot more lately. So, this is, in my opinion, it's a good step in the right direction. It's a good first step, but it needs to be acted on fast. If this is put out and then nothing's done until November or December, it's going to be a big waste of time. That happens a lot of times with the government. The government is slow, unfortunately, but this is a good first step in ensuring the U.S. I could say the U.S.'s dominance in digital assets. Yes, we need to dominate the digital asset industry, but it's also a good first step in securing our future and not being out-innovated by another country, which is a strong possibility if we don't start, if our government doesn't create a regulatory framework and clarity so that companies can start working on projects and create things on the blockchain that support the U.S. and our financial system. So that's really what everything entails. And so I think it's a good step. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll report back with further developments. All right. So thanks for listening, and have a great day.